In 1944, deep in the dense jungles between India and Burma, a battle unfolded, one that history almost forgot. It wasn't fought on the beaches of Normandy, but in the mud, the rain, and the endless hunger of human exhaustion. This was Imphal, where Japan tried to pierce through India to change the fate of the entire Asian front. When the first shots echoed through the valleys, no one knew that this would become the turning point that shattered Japan's ambition in the East. After 3 years of domination across Southeast Asia, Japan believed it still held the upper hand. Burma, Thailand, Indochina, all under its flag. But in the West, the Axis was collapsing, and in the East, the Allies were gathering strength. General Renya Mutaguchi, commander of Japan's 15th Army, believed he could reverse the tide. He proposed a bold plan, Operation U-Go, to invade India through the mountain jungles. His goal, capture Imphal and Kohima, cut off British supply lines, and open the road to Bengal. On paper, it looked daring but possible. In reality, it was a suicidal dream. On the Japanese side, over 85,000 men, including the Indian National Army, led by independence leader Subhas Chandra Bose. Facing them, around 70,000 Allied troops, British, Indian, and Gurkha soldiers, under General William Slim, a calm and brilliant strategist known for saying, "You can't fight the jungle. You must make the jungle fight for you." Slim understood one thing clearly. If Imphal falls, India will fall. So he made an unprecedented decision to defend entirely by air supply. March 1944. The monsoon clouds arrived early. From the east, 3 Japanese columns began crossing the Chindwin River, carrying hopes of a swift victory. But what awaited them was not glory. It was a jungle that would devour them alive. 3 Japanese divisions, Yamamoto, Sato, and Tanaka, moved silently through the jungle. No tanks, no vehicles, no real logistics. Each soldier carried only 20 days of rice and blind faith in victory. Within days, the rice turned moldy, the men ran out of water, and leeches clung to their legs like living chains. They pressed on, deeper into the green abyss. Meanwhile, General Slim turned Imphal into a fortress in the sky. Hundreds of Dakota and C-47 aircraft flew daily over the Naga Hills, dropping food, ammunition, and medical supplies. Each parachute that fell was a lifeline. Indian and Gurkha soldiers called them the birds of life. By early April 1944, Imphal was completely surrounded. From Tidam in the south to Kohima Road in the north to the eastern ridges of Ukhrul, the noose tightened. Inside, Allied troops dug trenches, bleeding and waiting under constant shell fire. Outside, the Japanese were starving. Their supply lines had vanished in the jungle. On April 13th, Japanese forces seized Nungshigum Ridge, a vital hill overlooking Imphal's main airfield. If it fell completely, the fortress would die. Slim gave the order, "Take it back, no matter the cost." Then came one of the most improbable moments of the war. Light Stuart tanks crawling up muddy slopes, supported by Gurkha infantry. Against all odds, they succeeded. By nightfall, the ridge was secured. It was the only tank battle ever fought in the Burmese jungle, and the day Imphal was saved. But the cost was thousands of lives. May brought rain, relentless, merciless rain. Roads turned into rivers. Corpses floated down streams. The jungle became a swamp of death. Japanese soldiers, starving, feverish, desperate, ate bark, roots, even the flesh of the dead. Mutaguchi still demanded, "Attack!" But there was nothing left to attack with. No bullets, no food, no hope. Imphal became a living hell. Death came not from bullets, but from hunger, disease, and despair. A Japanese sergeant wrote in his diary, "We pray for death to come quickly." On the Allied side, conditions were barely better. Men fought knee-deep in mud, surrounded by corpses, stench, and silence. One Indian soldier recalled, "We never saw the enemy. We only heard them scream in the dark." The skies above Imphal never rested. More than 19,000 tons of supplies were dropped from the air in 2 months, a record that stunned even the Americans. Every day the rhythm was the same. Dawn, reconnaissance planes. Noon, the roar of Dakotas. Evening, smoke rising from field kitchens and the distant thunder of guns. A pilot later remembered, "We dropped the crates and saw hands waving below. I couldn't see faces, only the color of hope." Out of 85,000 Japanese soldiers who entered the Imphal front, barely 30,000 survived. Most didn't fall in battle. They starved, drowned, or vanished in the mud. Mutaguchi refused to retreat. He believed willpower conquers hunger, but no will could stop the monsoon, or the fever, or the truth. Japan had lost. A captured Japanese officer said, "We walked in silence. Each step smelled of death. When I crossed the river, I looked back at the jungle and knew we had buried ourselves there." July 3rd, 1944. After 4 months of horror, Mutaguchi finally ordered retreat. More than 54,000 Japanese dead or missing. Over 12,000 Allied casualties. No victors, only survivors. Imphal and Kohima became the twin victories that saved India from invasion and marked the beginning of Japan's downfall in Asia. From these jungles, the Allies pushed south again, through Mandalay to Rangoon and into the final act of the Burma campaign. General Slim later said, "This was not a triumph. It was the end of a madness." Years later, Imphal returned to silence. The rice fields grew back, the graves sank into moss, and the jungle reclaimed its dead. Imphal never became famous like Normandy or Stalingrad, but here, in the rain-soaked hills of Manipur, Japan's empire began to crumble. Slim once said, "If you ask me where Japan's defeat truly began, I will answer, Imphal." War passes, but memory remains. British, Indian, Gurkha, Japanese, all were victims of the same human ambition. Imphal teaches us one truth: no victory is worth more than human life, and peace is never free. It is a gift bought by an entire generation.